Steiner, who was also very keen in nature observation, said nature observation is looking at the world with keen, healthy senses and a quickened power of observation to then give yourself up the feeling that arises within you. This feeling penetrates the superficial aspect of things and in doing so touches their secrets. I think Steiner talks a lot about penetrating. Yeah, I started with writing and illustrating a children's book with the research question that's behind this project. What could we learn from the child's perspective in order to make a positive change in a world of complexities, wherein we would be the adults, and what could we learn from the children to make a change in the world of tomorrow and in the future. And then I wanted to discover or to practice a relation with nature and with land, because it's kind of the assumption, but that's also what the story will be, that the child is more connected to elements of nature than we as adults are, or that it's more of a practice as an adult to feel connected to different elements in nature. And the nature observation was one of the things that I wanted to practice in the self-designed curriculum with people, to feel a little bit more connected, or to try to practice the connection with land.
I've been waking up at 6:30 in the morning, and then I've been working out to do a pseudo plank. And then I've been practicing throat singing. It's Tuvan throat singing from Mongolia. And otherwise, I've been practicing the cello, but you might have seen me do that. Yeah. So my question that I started with was, how does it look like to be fully myself amongst others? In that context, for me, it means that how does it look like for me to be fully myself, to make my choices and to express any opinions, which I'm not very good at. Did you hear it?
To see how art fits in the world. So I've been looking for a while to see how to bring voices that you cannot speak when you're in daily life. So, and I'd like to do this in group, so that's why I brought people together, because I'm curious to see what happens when you bring a group of people together and you don't know what's coming next because it's improvised. And I think it allows a lot more freedom, and maybe unexpected, amazing things happen. Yeah, that if you had planned them, wouldn't happen. Yeah, so I started with voice. Yes, no reason really in particular. I thought to have different aspects to try and see what comes out, because I think people sometimes feel more comfortable with voice and sometimes more with playing or theater, and sometimes it's too hard to use words to actually be free. So my main goal was actually to see what comes out without this filter of social conduct and how you have to be, but how can you just express yourself without having all this. So I did theater and voice, music. That's it.
Yeah, so I'm writing stories about the future. Like, I want to write stories about the future because if we like can envision what we want, then we know what we want to work towards. So I was also interviewing a lot of people how they want the future to look like, so to gather information from different perspectives. And then I wrote stories about it, but it didn't like, I found it very hard. So what I mainly have done now is writing like fancy stories about like things that are real here, but like fancy stories to like awaken your imagination. Yeah, and last days I've been writing them in my book, and I've been illustrating them a bit. Yeah.
My hand is also very cold. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I started to experience to use limit water for 5 days. So not to use any of the water from this house, and to carry my own water, like from the fjord, or collect the rainwater, or to go to the well from kilometer away to collect drinking water back. I found out for me now in this moment, the most thing I'm caring about in this world is about like the freedom of speech and also human right. But when I realized that a part of people in this same world, they even don't have enough resources to be able to live. And it just shocked me. It made me want to know more about that. Oh my god! I've been doing a little bit of reading. I've been reading some Steiner and some articles on like nature, childhood, and sort of how natural play and being outside can help. So I'm looking at the idea that joy, and that playfulness has a big part to play in the future of our world, especially in the future of children. And I want to see more joy and more playfulness brought into education. And that's sort of the big goal, and I'm still not quite sure how I'm doing that, but I'm exploring how that is happening already. And the games are sort of an outlet where I can test out games and also practice hosting, but also just bring some lightness to these weeks where there's a lot of stuff going on. And that somehow through these games, like together we can be more childlike. And I think for me that's a big important part of everything to do with the future, is that we need to be more playful and we need to be more joyful in what we do. And I think we can learn how to do that by hanging out with children, observing children, but also just being a little bit like them and following their example.